First the probation. And now this? Huh? This? This was your one, huh? Well, guess what? This is the part 2 for Jag Garcia. And do you really think I put the crowd at that moment, huh? Well, not yet. Maybe right after the show, maybe outside.
Excuse me, but remember the probation.
Probation my ass! Screw it! My pride and glory, my dignity, all hurt.
Whoa. Do you have dignity?
Shut the fuck up and let's get it on with it!
Alright, this is the brutal Rolando Alejandro Zamora, and welcome to the part 2 of, yes, my variety talks with Mr. Jag Garcia. Before we proceed, I had a certain mascot would like to say something. Alright, screw the management of the show. I just want to kick everyone's ass. Why don't you let me kick everyone's ass? Huh? You even give me this probation? This stupid probation? That I'm not allowed to beat the crap out of this damn host? This damn marmot? Yeah, laugh all you want. The next I see you, it will be your last. Fuck you. My blood's boiled. Maybe this guest would be... Remember the probation. No ass kicking to the guest as well. Because if you do, we're gonna have to send you to a place where you will be re-educated. And then, if you go too far, Jag would condone it in terms of conditioning. What conditioning? No! Anything but that! What about John Sebastian? Not him! I don't want to use the word. How about... Hey! Haven't you noticed something about this? What? Those three had something in common, Jack.
I don't know. What is it, Kenny?
Bye, nakalimutan mo na CBL, si Wrestling Lord
You're
Versosa, nagets mo? Nagets mo?
Alright.
Anong grupo sila?
Yeah, okay. Oh shit. Royal Flush.
Yep, the Royal Flush. So who is the remaining member of the Royal Flush in PWR left?
Main Max.
Well, he's the most decent of all. After all, Main Max cares. No matter how he sided with Mr. Shit just to form the Gorang Boys. Why Gorang Boys? Well, would they be offended if we call Mr. Shit and the Gagong Boys?
Well, I feel like you gotta watch yourself though, because I feel like Mr. C is gonna go after you for playing with your toys.
That! He's gonna go after us! Screw Main Max! Yeah, he nearly choked us to death! Even the Red Panda 2 got victimized, right? Poor Red Panda. Moving na kayo. You had your attention right now. Layas, mamaya na natin asikasuhin ito pagdating sa subject ng mga primates. Gorillas. Chimpanzees. Macaques. Mamaya na. Puro kayong monkey business eh. Bullshit eh. Serious na to. Alright, now, let's continue with your stuff from Philippine wrestling as much as possible. So, what particularly you discovered Philippine Wrestling Revolution?
Well, I started following, I low-key followed PWR around, 2014, around 2014, 2015.
Mauna ka pa sa akin. Good for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you know that, did you know that PWR, their hangout spot was at Cubao Expo. Back then it was at the Appraisery and the Rumpus Room at the time.
Ayun, naalala ko yun. Yes.
Yeah, so I remember my first exposure was not through watching a show live, but because they were showing the tapes to the guys there, and that's how I knew about that there was Philippine wrestling And yeah, I think that, like, for the most part, that's how I kind of got to that's how I got to familiarize myself with the scene before I could even watch the show. Still remember, like, the first Revolution X, I wasn't there, but the aftermath was a lot of people from from Cubao Expo went to MCS to watch the show, and when they came back, they were all sweaty. They're all excited. They still want to wrestle each other, and that's what got me into, like, wanting to watch it. Then um, I couldn't get to watch it yet because I work in the restaurant industry, here.
Mm.
So the,
Where were you working at the time?
I was working at this coffee shop in Morato. It's called Afters. If you guys are in the area, look for the gelato. Try out their gelato, their affogato. Definitely a must try. That's
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, because yeah, I think we're still in good terms with the owner there. And anyway, um, but because yeah, I was working in the restaurant industry. I didn't have the luxury to go to MCS if I wanted to until sometime after I left. I was able to watch I was able to watch their first show in I Academy,
Let
and
me guess. The second PWR live. Am I that correct? Before the
uh,
terminus, the final terminus in their history.
yeah, yeah, the first PWR live I remember was still in MCS, and I remember this particular event because at the time they had a deal with Digital 5, with Sports 5 rather, and so we got to see the PWR personalities actually do commentary. So we had, of course, we had Mr. C, then we also had Vicky Manuel and Kiko Fabricas, and those guys were, I mean, those guys are fun to listen to in commentary. They're very smooth together. They work well together, and that's what I was hoping for when they were doing these commentary, when they were doing these events, because I was the first, yeah, my first PWR show was PWR live at the I Academy, and it never aired, but you can. I was at the VIP section, and it was very funny to hear to hear the banter of Vicky Manuel and Mr. C at the time. Yeah, so it was crazy. Everything that was crazy because yeah, there were I guess, like, this was like that day on PWR live. I had a really rough day. Like, something happened, something personal happened, affected me. I was really upset that day. Then the moment the show started, that bad feeling went away. That I was not upset at that time throughout that show, and it was fun to watch the whole time. And I think that was what made it enjoyable, because that's what made me realize how much wrestling meant to me. It was my escape. It was my escape from all the bad feelings in the world, and I really got to admire the sport in a way like that. Then
Me
of course,
too. Even me too. Pag walang Philippine Pro Wrestling Scene dito sa Pinas, my life would be suck. Big time. I'm
yeah,
prone to do stupid things kapag walang fun and laughter and excitement. That is professional wrestling. And glad we have that one in here. No matter how tough, how nasty, and how brutal things can be, but at least they did the impossible possible. For that, whoever yung mga original batch, and then to the guys, either PWR, MWF, and World Underground Wrestling Philippine Chapter, thank you very much for all the great stuff that you brought to all of us as that serious wrestling fans. Anyway, let's
yeah.
continue your story regarding that one, if you please.
Yeah, so I was again, I would not be able to. I didn't have that perfect attendance like a lot of people would have.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, whenever I could watch a show, I would. Later on, I think this was I later got in. I was able to watch Vendetta also at iAcademy. Then I also then later Bayanihan Center shows I was able to watch, I think, two or three at the time. Um, Even like, I guess, like, when, especially when I the only time I got to watch Revo X, to be honest, was at their iAcademy. Was at their Bayanihan Center show.
Yan, okay. You should be thankful
And
for that.
yeah, and so this is when KVIP Cafe started venturing more into local wrestling at the time. So we were able to get a lot of cool things happening there, and well, alongside with Path of Gold and other shows. And I think like that was that was the biggest, that was that event was special because you saw, this is like one of those times where you saw everybody would go to that show. This is the WrestleMania of PWR, no doubt about it, because they're like, normally normally a seating capacity is around 300 people. Then at Revo X, it got up to 500, 600 people almost, and there was a lot of standing room now because of that. And I think that's what made it so special, because it was, they knew that it was their biggest event, and that drew in a lot of people. And I wish that more events like that would follow. More, we would have these bigger crowds in the future, and I hope it doesn't dwindle, especially during the pandemic right now.
Yeah, we know
But
that.
I think we'll have to see how the adjustments are made, considering that there's going to be a lot of physical distancing involved. There's going to be a bit of, we can't be able to do everything that we were hoping for. Um, you gotta understand though that when people watch these shows, it's very entertaining. It's very awesome to watch, and I think that's also like, for the most part, my near perfect attendance was actually in MWF.
Yun,
Um,
match
mm-mm.
again, yes. Manila Wrestling Federation.
Yeah,
Anyway,
my near perfect attendance for the first year was MWF. I think I
so
missed
am
out
I, so am
on,
I. Anyway, you
yeah.
want to talk about MWF and how they represent and their huge differences between PWR in any given capacity.
Well, okay. So for one, PWR and MWF have a different approach to each other. PWR is mostly about short bursts of matches. There's very the there are storylines. Yes, there's a novella to follow, but it doesn't it's all lost in it tends to get lost in the shuffle, to be honest, when they're because yeah, either the story, I mean, the story, there are story arcs to follow. I remember like last year was Camus's redemption arc.
Hmm.
um yeah, like it was costing the Naughty Boys victories event after event, and
That
then
gotten this recently suspended Kaptutan snap, and the whole wrestling ang iniisip kong mantra went over the edge, if you ask me.
yeah, and yeah, you see these story arcs happening, but they're not the main focus of the event, if you pay attention. But MWF, it's more story based, in a sense that, yeah, there are B plots, and then there's an overarching element, like with like throughout throughout their Mega World shows. It was basically Gus Global and his pandering to the Chinese wrestlers,
Yun.
and you can see like, and when people say keep your politics out of the ring, out of
That,
wrestling, it yeah, it doesn't make sense, because the thing is,
part na yan ng
uh,
tradisyon.
it's part ng tradition yun. It's the narrative is always going to be there. There's always going to be something there's something political about wrestling when you do these stories. And that was their focus. I'm sure like PWR. I think there would be a few things like uh authority, but I think it's more they tend to focus more on the
Based on the real
um
life events.
not just the real life events. I think it's more on there's a more mainstream appeal to
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I mean, in terms of international reach, I think it would appeal more to the people if with PWR's approach. But MWF has a really good has a fun narrative. I wouldn't well not all the time fun because I'm not really a big Gus guy. Sorry, Linus, but um, there's this thing that I think there's this thing about how they have their own pros and cons, and that's something to admire. I think what I also like as well is that everyone's also working to improve on their edge. So the PWR guys, we have people that can fly high, do crazy stunts. Um, MWF has PWR has those crazy spots, has those moments where people would just really get a feel of it. MWF has that narrative that really drives people, and like and and that's what I admire part. Everyone's doing their thing to stand out, and that's something to appreciate. And I think the more that we pay attention to these, um, the more that we'll be able to enjoy to enjoy the product as we speak. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where was I? Yes, MWF stuff. I was there for yung year zero nila, complete yung attendance ko. From the
Hmm.
first MWF Live to Republica, and then there's this Balikbayan, kung hindi ako nakakamali. Before Balikbayan, ano siya? Forget that, yung title. Well, yung pinakahuli yung Noche Buena sa alam ko, I remember yung Balikbayan box match ni sino to? Si Moises Liwanag and Frankie 13, who is no longer part of the roster ng MW, but I think he still works there if possible.
No, he's already disassociating himself with not really disassociating.
Call
He's
it
he's
a bit
already
taking a break.
yeah yeah he's already let himself go from MWF, and that's it. He has his personal reasons, which I respect. He's been like I feel like if you're someone you have to if there's someone in the wrestling scene you have to support no matter what their choice. It's definitely Frankie.
Mm.
Um, you get into the mind of Frankie. He has a great imagination. He's very creative, and I really wish that there's an avenue for him. I hope that he pursues his projects, so that he can flourish in that, um, so that he can flourish as who he is as a wrestler, as a creative person, and you have to admire his creativity there. I mean, how the hell did the drummer the train get over Frankie 13?
Na-miss ko na yung yung pinalabas niya sa YouTube, pero bigla niya tinanggal. Hindi ko ma-download yung mga yan. Parang gusto ko panoodin yun dahil sobra
Yeah.
ako na-invest dyan sa ginawa niya. Sobra.
Yeah.
Sayang.
Yeah.
I just hope you
Yeah.
keep the originals.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, he was hoping that someone actually did manage to archive it, but I can't say for sure. I really hope that there is an archive somewhere. Maybe we can probably check out maybe we can probably check out the Wayback Machine or something to actually to help to recover those videos.
Sana man.
Because
Sana man. Parang kasi masyadong malambot yung puso ko sa mga ng works niya. Parang, I found this animation, pero okay parang type ko yung ganyan.
yeah,
Something weird. I love something weird. It's the only thing that will bring the smile out of my face. Tra la 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 la. And yes. And then, yes, yung MWF, just like PWR, maraming pagsubok na dinadaan nila. We thought that PWR only had this kind of recent controversies. Sa MWF, I cannot say minor pero medyo matindi rin. Believe it or not. I don't know
Yeah.
who are the responsible parties anyway. Maybe it would be best pang hindi nila ibulgar maybe when the time has come. Kung sino, pero hopefully it doesn't involve, you know him, right?
Yeah.
Sira na nga yung reputasyon ng gumanap na classical Brian Leon na yan, tapos dadagdag pa. Ano ba yung kahulugan nito? Yan yung ayaw kong pakialaman dahil, ewan ko kung mababawi pa yung tao na to. Because to be told, I love the classical Brian Leo character, but the person who portray it, hindi ko masyadong kilala, kaya ayaw ko na maging judgmental, pero mukhang totoo yung lahat mga sinasabi niya yung ginawa niya sa PWR na yung rason kung bakit pinatalsik siya doon, by all means. And yes, this is their problem anyway. I don't know why a certain like this, or everyone like Peter Versosa or just Sebastian have a soft spot with the wrestling characters too, to be honest. But it's like may ultimatum yung part na to. You know what's the ultimatum? It's either you're with us or against us. Have you noticed something like that? Even pro wrestling scene or in any given kind of scenario aside sa wrestling.
I think that's also one thing to be honest, that's one thing I noticed about the wrestling scene. Well, um, that's sometimes why I tend to go on breaks, especially on Twitter, because there are some things I like you sometimes just can't deal with because you kind of because you feel like you're getting too close to the drama, and I don't wanna
From your
how should I
fandom.
say it? Yeah, I mean the scene is so small. The
So
scene is so
small.
small, and yet there are people that are doing this, and I can't.
Haven't they noticed na sa panimula pa lamang yung PWR na medyo nakakawatak-watak na dahil sa yung backstage issues between, CBL and yes, one of the co-founders of MWF regarding creative differences. Yan yung napakamatindi. Pero may mas malala pa ata dyan eh. And it also involves this guy who was once a wrestler, rapper, and then into MMA, and what happened? Wala na. Oh,
Yeah,
nanahimik.
like I mean, you can't. The thing with these, you know that these are that these people that they did scummy things, and I don't know how much of a redemption arc is needed for them, but at some point you also have to realize that they've done really shitty things, and I hope that maybe like I guess there are some things that we'd like to know, but also um you can't. I don't know. I'm not lost for words right now because yeah, those instances, stuff like that, you see how heavy it becomes, and I also worry about how about being a critic of the product. Like you want to try and push these guys to be better, but they push back. In
For
this
any
case,
given reason, whether it's siya o hindi,
yeah,
or any way around.
yeah, and you gotta find. You gotta figure out lang. You have to. I'm sorry, Mayor. Like
That's okay.
yeah, I'm like my words are just being eaten up right now. My brain is being fried.
Yeah, ano,
My
fried
brain,
noodle or fried egg?
mostly egg. Medyo runny pa. Yeah, just like how I like my eggs runny.
Sunny side's
But
my thing.
yeah, sunny side is always the thing. But runny sunny side up eggs, Mayor. Mm.
I will love to try some beef spot. Okay, we deal with the beef spot later on. Now, since we got the topic of MWF, well, what's your first reaction about when you discover of the Art of War Wrestling, which for the last several months, we all know it came to a very bitter end. If you ask me kasi di sila nagkaroon ng sunod na show because of what happened in Genesis behind the scenes and some stuff like that, and also involves Chili Willy and a certain one of the important persons in that company at the time had a nasty accident that would lead him to his demise during the Genesis event, which was, most of us would say, low blow. Maganda
I think
sana yung
there's a
Art
lot.
of War. Legit daw.
There's
Pero nangyari, wanna tackle this kind of stuff?
Can I be honest? The thing, like when I was there. I was at Genesis. Um, for the most part, Chili Willy as a trainer. Credit where credit is due. He made some really good wrestlers there. There were people in that match that looked like they've already had wrestling matches beforehand. And we're not talking about Brian Leo or something. We're talking about
The
we're
original guys from AOWW.
yeah, the AOWW originals. Those were you have to admire their skill already in such a short time. Maybe like some of them have already had martial arts training beforehand, or to get that idea, to get that feel. Because yeah, people say that BJJ has that same principle when it comes to grappling and among other combat sports. And for the most part, yes, there were some really good wrestlers out there, but the thing felt like the thing didn't really come didn't feel like it was. It felt like it was rushed. You can feel it was rushed at the same time. Um,
Well,
okay,
we all
so
find out about it. Why na rush siya? And yan
okay,
yung
so yeah.
controversy.
Okay, so I think part of it is they wanted to get the show out already because they wanted to get a show out already. They wanted to prove themselves, but also
May mali
um
eh. May mali.
I saw. Okay, here's have you seen the wrestling ring?
I heard about the wrestling ring. I look at the pictures and the videos, and then parang hindi to tama ah. Parang
Yeah,
hindi ata yan yung sa ilalim niya.
it was.
Nakwento
Yeah,
na ni Chili Willy yung sa wrestling podcast years ago. I
oh
learned
yeah.
a
Okay.
lot from Chili Willy in his revelation. I
Oh
learned
yeah.
a lot, big time.
Mm-mm.
Isa sa
Okay,
ulo
here.
ko at damdamin ko.
Yeah, I think that's one thing like. Okay, so Chelsea. Oh yeah. Well then, yeah. The ring has been the ring. Okay, it's been exposed. Um, for the most part, yeah, the ring was rushed. It was built. It was being welded on the day itself. That it even ruined that. We heard that it also ruined the carpet of Valkyrie.
Wait, hindi
That
carpet, yung dancing floor. Wala kasi padding sa ilalim ng bakal na poste, alam mo yun?
yeah,
Walang yung pang rubber o yung
yeah,
kapan na padding. Yan yung mali nila. Kaya ayun, kaya
and the
narinig ko
rope.
daw malaking damage daw yung floor. Kaya yung
Yeah,
kita ng mga wrestlers, baka posible yan yung ginamit na bayaran yung damage. Pero
yeah,
maganda sana yung Genesis, sana bittersweet, pero bittersweet victory if you ask me, but nagiging nightmare eh. Namatay yung isa nilang yung one of the
mm,
founders. Tapos yung
yeah,
yung controversy pa yung look, minamadali yung show kagad, 'di ba? Napakinggan mo na yung wrestling podcast kay Chili Willy regarding yung AOWW, 'di ba?
yeah. I
Ka
was at that.
yung
I
training,
listened
'di
to
ba?
that.
Wrestling training dapat 1 year. Bakit pinaiikli nila? Nakalimutan nila yung may parte na you disrespected the tradition of training first before you wrestle, like that. Minamadali, yan yung mali. Diba napansin mo yun? Kahit sino. They can
Mm-mm.
tell stuff. It's more than just common sense.
Mm-hmm. Um, so I think okay, so I think that's also one of the things what was happening behind the scenes what didn't really work out as much. I'm sure like there are some things that were not discussed. I think there was I did hear something. I did hear something about the not just the finances that day, but also, yeah, Shelly Willie wasn't paid. There was people were being screwed out of money, and
And it has something to do with Brian Leo again.
it doesn't, not just Brian Leo, man.
I
I don't
think
think it's
management. Probably a certain Brian Finnegan na mayroon ako narinig ng rumor yung tao na yan eh, parang di maganda ata regarding
yeah.
yung tenure niya sa PWR. He
I
happened
heard
to
that
be
rumor too.
he happened to be the real life boyfriend ni yung babaeng gumanap na Scarlett, yung Queen of Roy Flush. I think a portion of it told me that the reason why Scarlett left, maybe one of it has something to do with her now former fiance, if you will, right? Yan yung rumor, yan yung rumor. I'm not gonna take it for, pero I will add it on memory para mag-gets ko. Kaya nga, masyado na talaga siyang distansya sa local wrestling since parang doesn't do any
Yeah.
good for her or whatsoever. Pero Brian Finnegan to run the AOWW, well, something's went wrong. Yung mga rests parang medyo parang humble lang sila. And this si Brian, I think he's a bit of a show off. One would say, may sabi daw na he rode on that yung sa Genesis with probably a sports car, if you will. Yan yung rumor na narinig ko. But here's the thing.
You're more of an insider than I am now, Mayor.
Well, apparently, yes. But that was what I heard from a certain guy who used to train with the guys sa sabot kaming AOWW. I'm not gonna put his name here yet for safety reasons. But it is through him, he revealed me everything that
Yeah.
I need to know. Maybe one day I will link this guy to you, and then he would tell his side stories without being publicized whatsoever. Okay?
I guess. Like in part of it, I kind of there were some other rumors that may have been discussed, or
Go
that
ahead,
I may have
please.
picked up. No, but I can't discuss it anymore because I can't remember them anymore. One thing about the AOW show, I shut that thing out of my memory. I wanted to I wanted to forget that moment already. Not because of the event itself, but rather some of the things that were happening in between. So here's something that happened. I was taking shots. I was taking shots of Path of Gold. I was taking shots for Path of Gold, and let's just say that the shots did not fly well with a lot of people, and I take responsibility on that part. But the thing was, because we were getting involved with AOWW at the time. We became a media partner at the time. It pissed off some people, and I guess
For
like
the
it pissed
people,
off the
sa AOW or everyone for that matter.
Okay, I think I'll just go on and say that some I've heard some people from PWR were not happy with our approach, and so I guess like when I heard these things, like some people actually, like some people from who are my friends in the scene told me about the thoughts that were going on by and I guess it kind of affected me. It made me doubt myself as someone who's trying to cover these events, who's trying to do the right thing. And then it made like I
Why
wanted
would they
to take a
offended?
sabbatical.
Why would they be offended?
Okay, so let's put it this way. My shots at Path of Gold at that year were not pretty. Were not great. I think I took some botches that ended up in the final cut because I only had so much space for footage. I think the thing with and then word got out. I found I heard some opinions that made me doubt myself. I'm not gonna say who it is, who said what, but it did take me to the it did make me understand that, yeah, I have to take down, one, I have to take down the video. Two, I wrote an apology to JDL, who was president at the time,
Mhm.
that he personally said that he didn't find anything wrong with the videos, but at the same time he also have, like, some people were not happy because it felt like we were exposing the product. Even some people from MWF were also chiming in, telling us, yeah, you guys are making wrestling look bad by accident. Like, they say, they mean, you don't mean to make it look bad, but it looks bad. And yeah, so I kind of, like, I wanted to brush my head out of it and take my head out of things. And I didn't want to focus on wrestling for a while, for like a few months, until, yeah, I guess it was just really painful. And it gives me that it's why gives me an even harder time when I do when I do content like this, because I still feel like that I still have that doubt in myself. Like, I feel like I'm no Ryan Satin. I'm no Ollie Davis, for that matter. And I'm trying my best here, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now with the AOWW out of its way, let's say how the roster were giving second chance, and voila, World Underground Wrestling PH. The
Yes.
several shows that I attend, let's say I was invited, and then gusto ko yung product na yan. I like what they're doing. I see how
Mhm.
they move. I see how they do that. I love it. I just hope that they learn their previous mistake, and hopefully it will never happen again. Hopefully, if this damn COVID-19 nightmare is over, if they were onto their feet and get back to business, I'm showing why they would have to continue what was meant to be for AOWW, but now they create a brand new legacy for the benefit of the great wrestling show in the future. Shoutouts to the guys who did the impossible possible. Cheers and rock and roll. Thank you very much for making me the happiest man alive, and hopefully the same kind of formula that I see in you will be continued. I support Philippine Pro Wrestling as a whole big time. And hopefully, whatever the controversies behind the scenes, I don't give a shit about it. What matters to me is you get everything you got, you earn our respect, and our fandom would be last forever as long as nothing could possibly go wrong. By all means, big time. Anyway, we had this part quite interesting, and then well, that's just about it. But medyo pagod na yung boses ko, so I'll let you. This is
Yeah.
Kenny the Southpaw Kangaroo on behalf of the brutal one Rolando Alejandro Zamora says thank you very much to you, Sir Jack, and
Hey, that's not nice.
not nice, huh? Maybe after of the air. That marmot is mine. And then you're going to Mandaluyong. No, it ain't about that. We got a bunch of loonies in there, you know that. Kaya magbibehave ka na, ha? Sige, layas. O, bueno, maraming salamat sa'yo, Jack. Big time.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Pause.
Oh well, that was fun, right? Yeah. Jack is one of the commanders and Major's good friends. Yeah, in fact, it won't take long. He's gonna be appear on the episode of the Cafe Cafe. Hopefully, if he could make it. Oh, remember, we are on probation. Probation. Try to hit me and you're finished. Well then, but before we knock you off, this is Muffy the Marmot over here, and me, Ken the Supple Kangaroo say good night and take this